Hello, and in today's video, I'm going to be ranking every single helicopter in Tycoon. Nobody has ranked them since about 3 months ago, and with the addition of planes, and now you can just fly way higher up in the sky, there's a higher skybox limit, I thought it was a pretty good time to rank all the helicopters because, well, we got 2 new ones, and yeah, there have been some changes to just stuff overall, like the Little Bird, for instance, got a nerf. So, yeah, I'm just going to be showing you all the rankings, and I'm just going to rank the helicopters for you guys, so let's get right into it. So, here I am on, well, my tier list, and I'm going to be ranking all the helicopters in order. I'm going to be ranking them off of about 2 things: how they fare against other vehicles, and that's actually the only thing. There's not a second thing, really. It's just about how they fare against other vehicles. And then, a main vehicle which I'm going to be comparing them against, or a main type of vehicle, is going to be tanks. I'm majorly going to be looking at the T-90, the T-14, the PL-01, and the Abrams X. And those are the tanks which I'm mainly going to be looking at them against. So it's generally just going to be these helicopters ranked against the vehicles which people use most in the game. Not just tanks, but other vehicles. So for starters, I need to add an F tier. There isn't an F tier right now. I need to make it green, and I need to make it an F tier. So how do you ranking all of that? So, the Lakota. Lakota is a super simple helicopter. It does its job, and it does it really well. So I'm just going to put the Lakota in, well, D tier. Because while the Lakota does its job, it has no ornaments on it, so it's going to die to everything else really easily. Then we have the Little Bird. And I'm going to change S to Little Bird tier, because Little Bird is easily the best helicopter, one of the best at least, because there's one other helicopter which I would say is better than Little Bird, actually. But the Little Bird, it's a classic. Everybody hates him. Everybody hates the users of the Little Birds. It's a classic helicopter. Nobody likes it. It's a rat helicopter, and everybody knows about it, basically. So, we got Little Bird tier replacing S tier. We have the Huey. If you have a reason why the Huey is good, tell me why. Just comment down below why. Give me a reason the Huey is good. Because the Apache is better. The Invictus is better. The Eurocopter Tiger is better. The Hind is better. The Mi-28 is better. The Little Bird is better. Literally, like, every helicopter is better. And I would say, basically, just the Super Stallion and the Black Hawk are worse. Why is the Black Hawk, you should know why the Black Hawk is down there, lacks weapons that are actually good against other vehicles. The miniguns do decent, however, I don't think it doesn't do enough. It's still a pretty big target, and the weapons aren't going to help it that much when it just gets blasted by a main cannon or an enemy vehicle's anti-air missiles or rockets, whatever just wants to destroy it at the time. Okay. This is probably going to be one of 2 rankings which people are going to disagree with. The Super Stallion, it belongs in F tier. The Lakota is just a more agile Super Stallion. The Super Stallion does its job, but it does it not the greatest at all. It doesn't do it as good as Lakota does its job. See, the Super Stallion, it has weapons, but they are basically the same as the Black Hawk. I'm pretty sure they are the same. They do the same amount of damage and they cool down at the same amount of time, or the same amount of time. The Super Stallion, it's just a bulkier, easier to destroy, greater target Lakota. That's all the Super Stallion really is. I don't think it even has flares either. If it does have flares, I would put it above the Lakota. So I'll put it in post-editing. I'll put in if I would rank the Super Stallion above the Lakota now. And then we have the Apache. It shouldn't need an introduction. It's basically as well known as the Little Bird, I think. The Apache is just a really great helicopter. The Apache, 8 lock-on missiles, and then 32 rockets. It also has a co-pilot seat with a pretty decent explosive machine gun. And it generally destroys most other vehicles pretty well. It fares extremely good against air vehicles. And then against just about every ground vehicle besides tanks, it does really good in. The Apache is pretty agile though, so you can drive around the tanks pretty easily. And maybe not die. But it does have 8 lock-on missiles, so that's good. And when it does fire, 32 rockets or so at you, you're going to be pretty much blinded by how many rockets are hitting you. Same goes with the Invictus, the Eurocopter Tiger, not the Invictus. Except the Eurocopter Tiger has 8 lock-on missiles and 2 machine guns. They both have co-pilot seats and then 8 lock-on missiles, except Apache has 32 rockets. And I would say the Invictus is better, because having 32 rockets means you're going to have the co-pilot or have your lock-ons ready to destroy enemy aircrafts. So, I'd say the Invictus is better in that single matter. And this was the other thing that I was talking about. The K-52 Alligator. I would say put it into C tier. Or more so B tier, put the one helicopter, which I think is better than it, in the tier above it. So, the K-52 Alligator is a pretty simple helicopter. It has about the same amount of rockets, or a bit less than the Apache, I think. It has 2 machine guns, which I'm pretty sure they're like the unnerfed versions of the Little Birds, which they're pretty effective at what they do. They're pretty good. And also has a co-pilot seat, which is actually really powerful machine gun if you use it properly. It does a lot of damage, actually. Like, a lot of damage. And that's just the Alligator. I wouldn't rank it up with the Invictus and the Apache, even though it's, well, if you look at the helicopter list in Tycoon, it is below them, so you could just assume that it's more or better helicopter generally. Or you could assume whatever generally. And then we have the Invictus. Second smallest helicopter in the game. It's a Lakota, but it has weapons. That's all the Invictus is. It has 8 lock-ons, which don't do that great of damage, and it has an explosive machine gun, which is just a worse version of the Mi-28's explosive machine gun. Which both of them are driver or pilot controlled, which is why they're a worse version. Mi-24 is a better Alligator. In only one way the Alligator is better. The Alligator has, or 2 ways actually. The Alligator's co-pilot seat allows you to, or the co-pilot to aim, well, basically anywhere on the right side of the screen or the right side of the K-52 Alligator, which is actually, it's pretty good. But the Alligator, you see, the thing is, it has, well, a lot of machine guns and a lot of firepower. But the Hind has lock-ons. The Alligator doesn't. The Hind also does have, actually, I wouldn't even call the Hind A tier. I call it just a better B tier version of the Alligator. See, the Hind also has 3 explosive machine guns, which are way better than what the Alligator has. And then that's just the Hind. That's probably going to be the most hot take I have of not putting the Alligator up there. I get it, the Alligator is fast. It's a very fast helicopter, and it has an ejection seat, which is also really dope. But the Hind just does a better job than the Alligator. The Mi-28, this is the helicopter that beats the Little Bird. This helicopter's explosive machine gun is so powerful. It mops the floor with every vehicle in the game if you're using it right. As long as you're high up enough and above the enemies and you know how to fly a helicopter to avoid tank shells generally, they can't really counter you that much at all. And when it goes against jets, it has 4 air-lock-on missiles, so it struggles there a bit. However, if you're gonna fight a Little Bird with a Mi-28 or an Mi-28, you're gonna fight a Little Bird with an Mi-28. As long as you can get the Little Bird to go upwards, you're basically just gonna win. Because once you're at max height at the skybox limit, the Little Bird can't go higher anymore. It has to move. The Little Bird's agility, or the Little Bird's main thing, is that it is tiny, it's hard to hit, and it can move also, which really makes that tiny little body that it has really effective. The explosive machine gun on the Mi-28 just destroys the Little Bird. It does an insane amount of damage to the Abrams X, the Super Stallion, like every vehicle in the game. And it just tears through the Little Bird's HP if you can start hitting it. And if also, well, a lot of times, if you're using a Little Bird and they shoot a airlock-on missile at you, these things do so much damage. You're either gonna flare and avoid them, and you're gonna sit in those flares to avoid the other ones, or you're gonna flare, leave the flares, and they're gonna hit you with 3 more generally. And that just cooks you, because, well, that does like 3/4 of the Little Bird's health, and it's not gonna survive that much longer while the explosive machine gun on the Mi-28 is firing. And the fact that all helicopters, they don't struggle as much against tanks now because of how high you're up able to go. However, by that I mean 3 helicopters when you have co-pilots, or the Mi-28, the Apache, the Invictus, and the Eurocopter Tiger, because of the co-pilot seats. They are able to do pretty well generally, I'd say. And the time traveling kamikaze car, I couldn't find an image of the DeLorean really that was like these ones of the other helicopters, but it's just a you could say it's a better version of the Lakota. I wouldn't disagree with you, but I would say it's equal to or better than the Lakota, or worse, because it cannot hold crates or oil barrels. However, it's really small, and it is pretty agile, and that helps it for kamikazing, which that's what it's normally used for. Otherwise, I see people taxiing others around a lot with the, or I used to. I don't see it much more, but people would taxi other people around with the DeLorean. The DeLorean, you have to be 10 reverse to get it though, so it's actually, I would rank it generally below the Lakota. They both have their own pretty, well, unique traits, and they do their job really well. I would say that, but the DeLorean doesn't have a job really. The DeLorean just kind of exists. It's just an Easter egg vehicle. And that is every vehicle in Tycoon ranked, or at least all the helicopters. If you disagree with me, or have some changes you would like to make, your own opinion, I'll just comment it down below and I'll reply to it most likely, at least for the next week or so. I'll just check in on YouTube Studio and I'll look at the comments on the video and I'll decide if I want to reply or you just ramble about something else and it's not going to be worth replying to you. So yeah, that's the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a good day now. See ya.